Ooh, we had some good ones. What I loved about Undertaker is he was so athletic for a big guy. He was one of those guys, 300 pounds, 7 foot tall. He could dive head first over the top rope outside the ring on the floor. He was just unbelievable. And I had this match with him. What happened was, Undertaker wanted to wrestle me at WrestleMania because he never had a WrestleMania moment type of match. Vince always put him with Giant Gonzalez or King Kong Bundy, you know, all these big guys that he couldn't do a lot of work with. He couldn't work with those guys too much. So thank God Undertaker ended up having some good WrestleMania matches eventually, but up until this point he didn't. He ended up having some with Shawn Michaels, one with Roman Reigns, I forget who it was, Brock Lesnar. So up until then, up until that point with me, he wanted to have that wrestle match at WrestleMania. But Vince didn't want him to end his undefeated streak. And I was world champion. So Vince didn't want Taker to beat me, and he didn't want me to beat Taker. Because if I would beat Taker, it would have ended his undefeated streak. And if Taker would have beaten me, he would have become world champion. And Vince didn't want that. So he said, listen, I'll give you that match, but it's going to be the pay-per-view before WrestleMania. No Way Out, which is the lowest buying pay-per-view of the year, because everybody's saving their money for WrestleMania. So unfortunately, I have my best match with Undertaker on the lowest buy rate pay-per-view of the year. So that was a little sobering. But we had an incredible match. It wasn't just, you know, good old-fashioned wrestling. There was a lot of submission trade-off, a lot of great false finishes. If you never saw the match, look up 2006 No Way Out Kurt Angle versus Undertaker. It's one of my top 3 greatest matches of all time. And that's including all my matches with Chris Benoit. So I have a match with Chris that's my favorite, and then Shawn Michaels is my second favorite, and Undertaker's my third favorite match. But those 3 matches were my greatest of all time. So it's Chris Benoit Royal Rumble 2003, Shawn Michaels WrestleMania 21, and Undertaker No Way Out 2006.
This isn't wrestling related, but I just want to know, how hard was it to win a gold medal with a broken freaking neck?
Good question. Well, I just want to tell you it's a scam. Never happened. No, it's a scam. Okay, what happened is, and I'll tell you how hard it was. It was very difficult, and it was very stressful. I didn't know if I was going to be able to compete. What happened was, I was at the first round of the Olympic trials, and I was in the semifinals having a great tournament, and this is a month after Dave Schultz was killed. So I didn't think things could get any worse than Dave dying. I was in the semifinals, and my opponent threw me on my head. And I broke my neck, and I didn't know it, so I kept wrestling. And my neck was killing me. My arms went completely numb. I couldn't feel my hands, my arms, and I barely won the semifinals, and I didn't want to wrestle in the finals. My neck was hurt, I knew something was wrong, and my brothers were like, you're wrestling, because if you don't, and I don't know if I'm going to explain this the right way, but if you win the first round of the Olympic trials, you're champion. You go to the finals of the Olympic trials, automatic. So you're the champion from the first round. You go to the finals of the next round of Olympic trials. And all the other wrestlers that place underneath you have to wrestle in a mini tournament, the second round. And the winner of the mini tournament wrestles the champion. So if I would have defaulted that match in the finals of the US Open, I would have had to take it second, and I would have had to be in the mini tournament and wrestle all these guys just to wrestle the US Open champion. So my brothers were like, you're not doing that. There's something wrong with your neck if you're wrestling tonight, because you gotta win. Because if you win, you have the advantage, because you only have to wrestle one time in the second round of the Olympic trials. You'll wrestle the winner of the mini tournament. And they were right, but I still didn't want to do it. My neck was killing me. So my brother starts slapping me in the face as hard as he can. I'm like, easy, whoa, whoa, whoa. My neck's killing me. So I went out there and I did what I could do to win. I couldn't do a lot, didn't have a lot of offense. I just pushed my opponent around and got a call for stalling. If you don't know what stalling means, that means that someone that's not being aggressive, trying to score points. So I won 0-0 referee's decision. It wasn't an impressive win, but I won, and I was in the finals of the Olympic trials. So I went home and I went to my doctor the next day, and he took an MRI of my neck, and he said, "Listen, you can't wrestle anymore. You're done. You have 4 broken vertebrae in your neck, and you have 2 discs stick directly in your spinal cord. You can't wrestle anymore. You're finished." And I was devastated. But me being the stubborn person I am, I went to another doctor to get a second opinion. And this doctor basically said the same thing, but he also said, "When is the next round of the Olympic trials?" I said, 6 weeks. He said, "You know what? I might be able to get you ready by then." I said, "Well, what's your plan?" He said, "Well, you're not going to be able to train much up until then. You're going to have to let your neck rest and heal. But when you get to the Olympic trials, I'm going to have a doctor travel with you, and this doctor's going to stick you with 12 different shots of Novocaine all throughout your neck. Therefore, you won't feel the pain, you'll forget your neck is broken, and you'll wrestle more freely." But he said an hour after your matches are over, that Novocaine's going to wear off. Your neck is going to be in excruciating pain. Are you okay with this? And I said, yes. You know what? It worked. I won the Olympic trials that way and the Olympic gold medal that way. So I took a chance. There was a chance that I could have ended up paralyzed, but it was something that I was preparing for my whole entire life. And to me, it was worth putting that on the line. I just felt, my family, we were known as amazing wrestlers. All my brothers were great right before me. Obviously, they didn't have the success I had, but they were really good too. So I was not doing it just for me. I was doing it for them. And, we were all a team, and I knew that I had to push through it and go to the end, and I did. I was very fortunate.